This is YSM Sports Media. I want to thank you for all your love and support. Really appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now and click the notification button for all future content. Here with Devon Williams and LB. What's good?
Chilling.
Not much.
What's on the agenda for today?
For the night?
For the day.
Oh, for the day?
Yeah.
Moving around, getting these 8 cups down the flats again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, so Leon Edwards and Chimaev cancel. Now, are they going to revisit that, or?
I'm sure they're going to revisit it. I mean, there's too much hype behind the fight now. It was Chimaev's step-up fight, which...
Leon Edwards is a little bit more than a step-up there, right?
Leon Edwards is probably going to tear that boy up. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, Leon Edwards, we talked about it earlier, is a easily the top contender next to Gilbert. The only problem is that he don't talk. He don't talk. He stay out the media. He hasn't fought in a while. But there's nothing you can say about him. He did everything Chimaev did against better opponents. So, I mean, we know the push. We know why it's a push. They're looking for the next Russian star. They're looking for the next Muslim star. They're looking to replace that market power could be bought to it. So that's the only way you can plausibly say. That's the only logical way you can say that's why they're pushing him that hard. Because there'd be no reason. He has under 10 fights and against nobodies. You can't name one person he beat. I don't think he's beat a person in the top 15 yet.
It's weird to me because the UK is a big market as well.
Yeah. So
you would think that Leon Edwards would get that push because in boxing. The black UK fighter has been very successful. Your Kell Brook, your Dillian White,
right.
Joshua, etc. So you would think that they would kind of piggyback off of that wave.
Yeah, well, I mean, one, MMA is just smaller. We have the biggest market for MMA, obviously. So it's just smaller over there. It's not small, but it's smaller over there. And when he got drafted over, it was with Darren Till. And he took a lot of that wave. They're in the same weight class. So, and I believe Leon Edwards took 1 loss, and that was around the time Darren Till was bringing up all this hype. By the time Leon Edwards' hype started to come, he never was talking like anybody. He wasn't talking like the other UK fighters. He wasn't brash. He was kind of just like a humble dude. The only thing we ever seen him get into was the Masvidal incident backstage. But it's kind of hard where it's like you're in the same weight class as another countryman. You have very much the same, I'm not gonna say the same style, but the same appeal as another countryman, and you don't do half of the talking. It's just hard. You don't make people want to see you, even though you're winning fights. You feel me? Mm. It's like even when it's like Paulie Malignaggi drew more people in, it wasn't because of his fight style, because of his mouth. He couldn't knock shit out. He couldn't punch a fly and put that away. You feel me? But at least he ran his mouth and created some controversy when it lost. And that kept people wanting to, bring in consistent $500,000 buys, shit like that. So, yeah, you got to open your mouth. Skills ain't enough to capture a market like it used to be outside of the Russian market.
So Russians, they're not really into talking. Just action.
Well, I'm gonna say specifically from what we saw of the market that could be bought over, it kind of mirrored who he was, which is like a humble guy with very proud Muslim fighter, very proud Russian fighter, and Dagestanian if there's any people that want to differentiate, and they kind of mirrored that, so it was never really any hate coming from the Russian side unless you were directly disrespecting him. But it was never like when Khabib showed up, his fans weren't booing and throwing shit at other fighters. You never really saw that, but they still showed out in numbers. I mean, look at the Madison Square Garden when he fought Conor. Yeah, he fought Conor. They showed out in numbers, and even though they had every right to go crazy, they still didn't you didn't hear about them fighting Irish guys, and the fans just they just sat there and enjoyed the fight. Very similar to kind of how the Japanese market is.
Okay.